Do we have something breaking that I'm unaware of? Is this big? Wait. Scale of 1 to 10.
6-7?
Oh, wow.
6-7? This is according to multiple reports, including
I'm not even refreshing Twitter.
including
I'm so
David
excited,
Pagnotta of the Fourth Period, also Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic and TSN. Carolina Hurricanes closing in on a deal with defenseman Shayne Gostisbehere, 3 years, $10 million. Shayne Gostisbehere, they traded for him a couple seasons ago from the Arizona Coyotes as like a rental deal, played like on the third defensive pair, and then signed last year for basically $4 million with Detroit. Coming back, about $3.2 million.
If I'm not mistaken, he scored a decent amount this year.
He scored a decent amount, yeah. So you talk about rounding out your sixth defenseman, because there's a report that Sean Walker, who's played with like Colorado and Vegas and a few different places, defenseman signing with the Carolina Hurricanes, who's at right shot. So it looks like Shayne Gostisbehere coming back home, Tim. Coming back home.
I don't know if home.
Oh no, it's home now.
Probably Philly.
It's home now. Home is here.
He played 23 games for Carolina back in 2022-2023.
Yeah.
3 goals, 7 assists.
I did not see this coming. I'm not gonna lie. I did not see this coming because
what is it? 3 years, 10?
Yeah, apparently 3 years, 10, or actually LeBron saying might be $3.2 million a year, so more like 9.6. So somewhere in that range, but you're talking about third pair defenseman for 3 and change. Mm-hmm. So it looks like we're getting the ghost is back.
The ghost
is back.
I don't mind. Here's what this is. The player, I would say, is a bit surprising because you're right. Like, he was here, and usually front offices that move on from a guy, it kind of feels a little strange to be like, we chose the wrong one. Here's what it is, though. A little predictable for the Canes, right? I've been asking the Canes to not be afraid of figuring out your third pairing maybe as it goes, your third pairing on defense and your fourth line on offense, and not being afraid to spend big to make sure your top pairing, your second pairing are super studs, or your top 2 lines are super studs, and figuring out the depth another time. But the Canes are never going to do that. Right now, look at their top 6 defensemen. Assuming Sean Walker ends up coming through, and that's what all the reports have, it's going to be Burns and Slavin, super dependable, super solid.
Yep, you know what you're getting.
Chatty and Orlov, super dependable, super solid. And then Gostisbehere and Walker.
That's apparently the deal.
That would be, again,
that's solid.
Veteran, super solid for a third pairing. Like, not sure you can ask for much more. The Canes are going to be built from the blue line forward. They're going to be super solid, super dependable. They're going to be guys that Rod knows are going to play Rod style hockey. And so if I had to guess what the rest of free agency is going to look like, and what did actually me and you say literally word for word back by the cubicles earlier today, they're signing a lot of bottom 6 forwards.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to build the depth. I don't think this team, the way that they currently think about hockey, are ever going to have like the super stud top 4 players, right? They're just never going to spend it on Gensel for $8 million or $8.5 million if that means costing them, 3 positions of better depth, right? You're going to have solid players on your fourth line. You're going to have solid players that most teams are going, they'd probably be a top 4 defenseman for us on your third pairing. That's just going to, because Shayne Gostisbehere, he's a top 4 defenseman on a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But he's going to come here and he's going to be on that third pairing. This actually allows Scott Morrow to maybe start in the minors.
I think that was probably the plan anyway, because apparently haven't seen anything official about Sean Walker signing with the Carolina Hurricanes, the defenseman, which will be that third pair right side. I'm assuming alongside Shayne Gostisbehere. So nonetheless, I mean, yeah, Scott Morrow, hey, go down to the minors. You're playing Chicago, develop your game, and then we'll bring you up when things are ready to go. Because guess what? After this season, Brett Burns, free agent. After this season, Dmitry Orlov, free agent. You're going to need to have at least a couple guys come
Morrow and Nikishin, two rookies next year.
Hey, I'm not going to complain about that. Which, by the way, Shayne Gostisbehere can play on your third defensive pair and quarterback and power play.
Which was something they needed.
Yeah.
Which
That's
was
fine.
something they needed.
Take some of that pressure off of Brent Burns to have to be a power play guy.
Can I be honest about how I want Brett Burns to be used?
What's that?
Just a defenseman. I don't want him on special teams.
I don't want him killing penalties as much. I'm okay with him on the power play.
39 years old.
I'm okay with him on the power play.
I'm stealing every drink of water and deep breath he can find on the bench. If you can somehow, I mean, maybe like just for a couple weeks a year, let that guy be just a defenseman. And I don't say just like derogatorily. I mean just focus on that. Do what you do best and catch a breather. But Shayne Gostisbehere expected 3 years, 10. 3 years, 10 million.
3 years, roughly 10. Again, still kind of waiting to see what the numbers.
It does seem like they just kind of love the $3.5 million player. They'd rather get three of those guys than one $9 million a year player, which gives you that depth and gives you that Kane system where you're going to be dependable.